From the KELOLAND Digital Desk, I'm meteorologist Scott Mundt, and this is Weather or Not. Coming up on today's show, we have a lot going on, and this really hasn't changed. And I guess if it hasn't changed, that's a good thing, considering we're in the business of trying to tell you the future. So if we could continue with the same outline, I think that's pretty good. So I think that also deserves either this or this. Thinking that we got one right. But, hold on. We have to get there first. And we will talk about this snow that's on the way, as well as the cold temperatures for this weekend. We'll have numbers even falling this afternoon after having early highs in the 40s, 50s. Those temperatures will remain steady or slowly fall as we go through the afternoon hours. And we'll talk about our weather pattern, be joined by meteorologist Brian Karstens as well. But let's go ahead and jump right into Futurecast. So for today, with the northwest wind that will be increasing during the late morning hours, slowly trying to decrease during the afternoon, that will help keep our temperatures steady or slowly falling during the afternoon. And look what happens this evening. We are looking at that chance for rain or snow in western, say north central South Dakota. Even Aberdeen may have a hint of some light snow showers during the evening hours, as you see that on Futurecast at 9 o'clock this evening. Let's continue to put this into motion for you and go through time. This is the overnight. This is at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can see our snows across eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, northwestern Iowa. Those areas that are highlighted in blue, that's what the model is thinking is snow. And then we have green, meaning rain, from Winter, Mitchell, getting maybe just to the west of Sioux Falls, Yankton, Parker, maybe looking at some light rain showers during the overnight. We'll see if a couple of snowflakes do mix in. And then as we get into the morning hours, a lot of that will be to our southeast. We'll probably have a quick bump up in these temperatures as we do get into maybe the late morning, early afternoon. Now, by a bump up in the temperatures, I'm thinking numbers above freezing, upper 30s, lower 40s for some. Whatever snow that you may wake up to that's on the ground in southeastern South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, I think a lot of that will end up melting as we do go through the morning hours and into the afternoon. And then we'll see if we get any new rain or snow showers during the afternoon or evening, and Futurecast trying to point to that. But quickly behind that next hit of light rain or light snow, it's bringing in this colder air. And that's what we'll have for the rest of the weekend. The second half of the weekend looking colder than the first half of the weekend. We'll have that mostly sunny, maybe partly cloudy sky for Sunday. But temperatures will be cold. We could have a couple of areas that will struggle to get out of the 20s in eastern and northeastern South Dakota. So the best chance we have at accumulating snow, and I went ahead and put an average on this, and Brian and I will talk more about this coming up. But I would say a good average is about a trace to 2 inches showing up across eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and northwestern Iowa. Of course, that area that you do see highlighted maybe in a little bit of a darker blue, I'm running the cursor through there, Worthington, maybe getting closer to Brookings, Pipestone area, Watertown, Webster. Webster live cam will be interesting to watch early tomorrow morning. Aberdeen, we'll see if we can get maybe an inch or two of accumulating snows for you guys as well. So I think that area that's highlighted in dark blue, probably the better chance of seeing the amounts of 1, maybe 2 inches. And, of course, this still can change. You know, these clippers that come in from the northwest, they've been known to, change. Maybe it comes in a little bit farther to the south. That will have to bring in some of those heavier snow bands a little farther to the south as well. So continue to watch it. Continue to stay updated with our latest forecast coming out from the Storm Center. Here's our forecast today. I think we'll have those early highs, 40s, 50s in eastern KELOLAND, and the chances we have at precip there, we see Watertown coming in at 60%. That's mainly for the morning hours. And we've had that already this morning, some light rain showers running through. Temperature, 53 degrees. That's our forecast high, maybe during the late morning hours. Once we get these northwest winds to bring in this colder air, temperatures will be steady or falling during the afternoon. But look at western South Dakota. They will warm. Temperatures in the lower 60s for Rapid City. And temperatures tonight will fall to the 20s, 30s. Keep in mind that wintry mix in eastern KELOLAND. Don't be too surprised if you do wake up to accumulating snow that's on the ground for tomorrow morning. But again, I don't think it will last long, as we will have temperatures warming above freezing during the late morning and early afternoon. We'll talk more about this snow with meteorologist Brian Karstens coming up. Welcome back to Weather or Not, and I am joined now by meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian, it's Friday. It's right before the weekend, and it's right before maybe our first accumulating snow.
How about that?
All right, finally.
Well,
we're overdue.
Around, 7th, 8th of November, this sounds about right, just to get a little snow and just to kind of test things out a little bit, which is exactly our philosophy behind this.
Just to cool down, too. Well, cold down, maybe.
Yeah, Sunday.
Feel a lot different.
We can't sweep that under the rug. That's going to expose us to what a taste of winter. It's going to be in the 20s most of the day. The wind is out of the north. It's going to be a wind chill day. So not exactly pleasant. But the promise is it's still going to warm up next week. We feel very confident about that.
Yeah, back to above average, 50s, 60s. There will be a couple of areas that can hit the 70s. And right now, if that happens, that will happen in western South Dakota. But we'll worry about that next week. But that's what we have to look forward to. If you're not a fan of the cold and the snow, it will warm again. Let's visit this map. Now, this is a map that we've been showing since Monday, and I have those numbers to show you what the trend has been. Now, you can see the snow chance of getting an inch or more, and we'll have a look at some other snowfall outlooks coming up too. But it's now up to 43% in Sioux Falls. And you notice how we have a little bit of orange to the southeast of Sioux Falls too. So this particular model, which is run off of, I believe it's the European, has a pretty good idea, thinking that, we'll get more than an inch of snow, maybe stretching from Sioux Falls into northwestern Iowa. But what has it been showing during the week? Well, for Sioux Falls, those numbers went up. On Monday, it wasn't showing an inch or more. Tuesday, it said, we'll throw in 2%. And then it jumped to 33 on Wednesday, and then we've been hovering around 50 on Thursday and still in the 40s for Friday. So the trend has been to get an inch of snow, I would say, in and around the Sioux Falls area, while it's been slowly trying to fall in Aberdeen. It went up to 46 on Wednesday. Now, Watertown, it's been almost staying the same, anywhere from 45 to maybe now 36 Wednesday through Friday. So the trend is there to see at least accumulating snows in the parts of eastern KELOLAND. Can we go any higher than that? Maybe 3 inches or more? This is saying no, but, Brian, there are other models that are thinking, we can get more than 3 inches.
Well,
but it won't be widespread.
And there's always a couple things.
It's worth a mention.
Yeah. Right. And I do think, though, that as we process through the data, and what we thought about this morning was putting on a trace to a couple of inches. And the reason we want to put that 2-inch mark in there is because if we get underneath some steady snow bands, it's November. It can do that. It can do that pretty quickly. And so given the time of day, too, that's very favorable.
You brought that up during KELOLAND this morning. The time of day is late at night, right toward daybreak.
Yeah, coming into Sioux Falls, 4 in the morning till about 8 a.m. That's perfect. So I'm just trying to make sure we're clear that, yes, if you wake up tomorrow morning and it's just coating of white outside.
And I'm not working tomorrow morning. I'm used to working these weekend mornings because people take time off and everything. And wouldn't you know it, we get some snow in the forecast, and I have to stay home.
You have to stay home. But you can drink your cup of coffee and watch it from the deck.
Watch it snow.
And so here's the deal, too. If it snows in the morning, it is still forecast to warm up. So I think that the odds of that all clinging during the whole day, probably not that great. I mean, we'd have to maximize this thing in the morning, at least 2.5, 3. We'd have to really probably get closer to 3, which is quite a bit. But let's say we get an inch of snow. Well, then you're going to be looking at temperatures in the low 40s. I'm still looking at brand new data suggesting that will occur. And then we have a second shot of some precip in the afternoon. Yes. Not as much, but there's that too. The total water precipitation forecast with this is generally in 1/10 of an inch up to 1/4. So you divvy this up. Some of it's going to be rain. Obviously, some of it is snow here too. Let me show you the next graphic. This is the one that we've been kind of eyeing here with that axis of snow from Aberdeen to about Spencer, Iowa. So it does run pretty close to Sioux Falls. If anything, Scott, there's still a little bit of a tug to the south on this. I've been manually pulling these numbers down. We have the ability to do that. So just, think about this for a moment. You've got a snow band like this, and just for fun, because I can do this while we're just talking here a little bit, let's pretend that this happens tonight.
System comes in a little farther south.
Yep, about like that. And I think that northwest Iowa, definitely agree with that. This Huron-Mitchell deal, that's where it gets a little tricky because there is some hefty radar trends going in about 3 in the morning. So if that conversion starts happening just a little east of Mitchell, then Sioux Falls will be a shoe-in to getting snowfall. But if we end up coming in from the northwest out of Bismarck, Jamestown, then we cut through Aberdeen and Brookings. And by the way, these clippers, if you open up your Weather 101 book and you'll study about these things, clippers are notorious for small changes in track. So, when we put these maps out, we're just telling you, yeah, this is the most favorable zone, but there is that possibility. And if anything, if we have to adjust, we'll tug south. So it actually gets more likely Sioux Falls gets involved in that.
And they're known, not as widespread heavy snows either.
Correct. Because they're fast movers. They just move right in, and here they go on the way, because the jet stream is cruising in from the northwest so quickly, and that's what brings in these lows. But there's 2 of them. There's 2 lows. The first one will do most of this. The second one is just kind of to top it off, and then that's the
to
one
help bring in the much colder air on Sunday.
Right. That's what's latched onto the polar front. And we've been using that word polar front.
You've been saying that all week. Now, before we talk more about the cold, I do want to bring this up. This is something I brought up yesterday. And this is looking at, what we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different computer models and their projections for snow in Sioux Falls. Now, the Europeans, it's a little light, coming in around 0.2 of an inch. That GFS, that's the American model. Earlier this week, it was almost double that. It was saying, 6.5? Or Sioux Falls, close to that?
It had a couple, a run or two in there that was pretty hefty, but it's backed off.
Yeah, it's backed off, but it's still coming in at close to 3.5. Okay. You want to say something?
Well, the Canadian is on there too.
I
think the Canadian is up to about 3.
It's up to that. I'm thinking, how can I add that? I don't know if the data will go out that. Well, anyway, that's something for me behind the scenes. But that brings up a good point. I'll actually write that down too. Canadian on the meteogram. So no, thank you. That's Canadian on short-term meteogram. I'll see if we can get that data for our next system that comes through.
Yeah, we can try this again. Maybe in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, because once we get this warm air back, we're done for a while.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? We talk about this snow, and at the end of the day, though, this is just all, just for fun. It's just going to be a one-and-done thing, and next week it'll be a memory because we'll be back in the 60s across a good chunk of South Dakota.
And I know this. Tell you what, we'll talk more about the cold. We'll talk about the pattern with warmer weather coming up. Does that sound good?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, stay with us. You're watching Weather or Not. Welcome back to Weather or Not. It's time to talk about the cold, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is just looking off of a computer model, so this is just raw data off of the computer model. And this is going into Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. It's showing temperatures in the 20s in northeastern South Dakota, 30 degrees in southeastern KELOLAND. And then as we get into your Sunday morning, widespread teens, central and eastern South Dakota. During the afternoon, I don't think the temperatures warm much, maybe hitting the mid-20s according to this model. Now, we do have lower 30s trying to return in southeastern KELOLAND on some other models, and that's what we have in our forecast so far for Sunday is the temperature in the lower 30s. We'll see if we have to tug that back, and that's what seems like we've been doing for the past couple of days. So pay attention to that forecast. Any way you look at it, it looks like temperatures will be much colder than what they have been, and probably see our coldest temperatures so far this fall. As you can see, it happened around Halloween and November 1st for many of us in KELOLAND, with temperatures in the low to middle 40s. This weekend, we're forecasting numbers in the 30s and 40s, but I did mention temperatures may fall to the 20s for afternoon highs in some areas, Brian, especially on Sunday.
Yeah, and then there's the wind chill value.
Oh, yeah, we cannot forget about that. Do we get into the minus digits or not? But I don't think it matters because it's been so warm. If we stay above zero, it's still cold.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of. I think the main story is just going to feel like a whole magnitude colder. I mean, or 2 magnitudes. It's just going to be a whole different story. Let's look at some of these numbers here off the European model for Sunday morning. 6 degrees wind chill value in Worthington, Minnesota. And we've got numbers. Sioux Falls, well, it kicks out a number there near 12. Now, you mentioned lower numbers, Scott. So I'm just looking on my other screen here. The American model on Sunday morning is actually now down to 2 in Sioux Falls for wind chill.
For wind chill. Okay, not an air
2.
temperature. Wind chill. 2.
Feels like temperature's 2. So just remember that. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to give you the better numbers than what I could be doing. And then what do we do during the day on Sunday? Well, we're likely going to stay here in the teens and low 20s for feels like temperatures all day with that brisk, blustery, cold northwest wind. High pressure, big high pressure. What's interesting about this behind the scenes, Scott, is that this the barometric pressure, for those of you who keep a home barometer, I'm sure a few people still do that. It's actually a very useful tool in meteorology. We keep track of high pressure and low pressure. The millibars, so basically the measurement of that center of that high, once it coasts down into central South Dakota, Sunday night, Monday morning, will be at least at 1040 millibars. And that number, 1040, that's a pretty big deal. That's true Arctic or polar air coming in. And it modifies because we don't have all that snow on the ground. But if this were, December, January, you bet this would be way below zero.
So you're talking about the wind chills
Yep.
for this weekend. On Sunday, you had those numbers fall to the single digits for the wind chill. Those overnight lows going into Monday morning. I think Monday morning will end up being our coldest morning we have going. Once we get through this, through the weekend, yes, it helps bring in the colder air. The wind's still high. The winds will die down probably Sunday night into Monday morning. And then I think Monday morning will end up being our coldest morning.
Yeah, and right now we've kept it at about 15 in Sioux Falls, and without snow on the ground, I think that seems pretty reasonable. It could surprise us, be a little colder than that. It's not impossible.
Have you seen the Canadian? Do you want to see the Canadian?
I have, but I'll let you do the honors if you want to show that.
Here we go.
Oh my!
Yes, this is looking at now just to make sure. This is Monday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And these are the actual 2-meter temperatures. 5, 2 in Aberdeen. That's 5 in Sioux Falls. So that we have a lot of single digits showing up on the forecast model. Okay, so that's the Canadian. That's notorious for bringing in the colder air, or showing the colder air. Now, going back to the American model, yeah, it's bringing numbers in near 10 degrees. As we go back and forth, yep, there's that 9 in Sioux Falls. That's the actual air temperature. This is Monday morning.
Yep,
right?
But I also see something about this that's interesting. So why is it developing that pocket of cold over Sioux Falls and Madison like that? What's going on there?
Okay, yeah, this is okay.
I'm going to pose this question to the audience. Anybody want to guess what's going on there?
Okay, let me know when you're ready, and I'll go to the next slide of what I think you're thinking of.
Pondering. Okay, let's go ahead. I want to see what you've got next here.
This is the snowfall outlook.
Yep.
For total snow through that time period. So that would take us out to Monday morning.
Which it is more bullish
This
on
is the American
snow.
model.
Okay.
Is there a snow depth on
I was just going to ask you that. You just
there it is.
You were thinking.
Okay, ready
just
for
like,
that one? Ready for
I
this
want to
one?
see that. Yeah. Let's take a look.
Oh, look at that. That's the snow depth.
So the model tries to keep some of that on the ground, doesn't it?
It still says at least an inch. You look at the color there, it's dark gray. Dark gray here goes from a 1 to 2, so at least an inch It's trying to say that it'll keep that snow on the ground. And then, as you mentioned, this is the one that's spitting out the highest snow totals, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah. This is not impossible to get. I mean, that scenario there is it's not off the plate. It's just not the most likely scenario. I still think that there's a good chance we're going to warm above freezing. But, yeah, if we get anything above 2 inches of snow, you bet that would be harder to melt, especially given the timeline there of how things are going to be moving into the forecast.
So there's the snow depth. There's a look at the temperature Monday morning. And that's the reason why.
Wow.
What the model's doing that.
That is it.
All right. Are you tired of talking about the cold? You want to talk about some warmer weather on the way?
I like that subject better, Scott.
Okay, let's jump right into the pattern. 500 millibar pattern. We're looking at the European model here. They'll show us troughs, ridges, high pressures, low pressures, and what they're doing. This goes through 5 times, and it goes out about 2 weeks. So we do expect to see warmer temperatures return. Notice how it brings in a cutoff low here, well to our south, in maybe the panhandle of Texas. Looks like later into the month. That's around the 20th or the 21st. So keep that in mind, and we'll revisit that coming up. But the snowfall outlook on the European, it's this one-shot deal with this clipper moving through, and we think it will be a little farther south than what this model is showing, what you see there. So again, we already talked about our snow amounts or snow chances coming. The American model highlighting this weekend in southeastern KELOLAND, and then it does something else. Oh, it brings in more snow around the 19th or 20th. That is at the same time that the European model was keeping that system well to the south. Okay, and we'll talk about that coming up here. So there's our hit of cold air for this weekend. That moves out. We try to get a nice ridge to develop and bring in that warmer air coming in from the south, from the west, maybe the southwest, as we do go through the week. It won't start warm. Monday will still be cold. Then after that, I think we do warm up. Keep in mind, we're looking at the European. You can see that low pressure system that's cut off going into Mexico, eventually into western Texas. And then I have highlighted in red, again, we're looking at the heights here, highlighted in red on the American model. That's why it's bringing in that snow chance around the, 19th and 20th that was highlighted. So that tries to bring in another low-pressure system on the American model. The European model doesn't show that. It has one well to our south. But in the meantime, Brian, we'll warm once we get beyond this weekend. It's always nice, interesting following the differences in those models. I should get that out too.
Yeah, and depending on how all that translates, I mean, I've seen many years where we'll get a nice bounce back here in mid-November, at least in the mid-60s, and Sioux Falls still hits 70. I'm keeping the door open to that.
Okay.
I don't think it's likely, but it's possible yet.
We do have 60s. I put 60 degrees on days 8 and 9. On that 10-day temperature trend, that airs at 640, around 640 on KELOLAND this morning. It goes beyond our 7-day forecast by 3 days, just to add a couple of days on there. And I put 60s on there.
Well, and to have the modeling showing 60s already that far out, that shows you how heavily weighted that is, toward the upside of things. So keep watching for that. And, you still have time to do some outdoor things, and if you don't want to hang the Christmas lights this weekend, you can put that aside. Don't worry about it.
Next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. Anytime next week. Looking good.
Looking good. All right, that's a good way to end it, don't you think?
I do.
All right, thank you for watching this latest edition of Whether or Not. Have yourself a great weekend.